Hello, it is I, the MIT Romney gamer. Today I am here with my first rant. This rant is going to be about the 1990s. What the fuck is wrong with the 90s? Didn't it end 10 years ago? People say the 90s didn't end until 2004. But, that is bullshit, and everyone who says that should go to hell. I myself was born in the 90s, but I would never consider myself a 90s kid. Being known or wanting to be known as a 90s kid makes you a faggot, and I say this because I know someone who was classed as a 90s kid. And he is a huge faggot. He is classed as a 90s kid not because he was chosen to be, but because he is so sure that he is one because he wanted to be. My next problem with people who think they are 90s kid is that they think they played all of the classic video games, when in reality there were only 3-4 when the 90s actually ended. They were too young to even remember or play a video game, and even if they did, that does not make them a classic gamer. Anyone who still plays Mario 64, Spider-Man was not a classic gamer, not at all, and never will be. They might enjoy the games, but they don't enjoy the games because they're old and they are trying to appreciate them. They like it because they think it's fun. That's all that's to it. A lot of people say nostalgia is what makes a 90s kid happen. This is bullfuck. Another thing people say is that the 90s are never coming back. No shit, Canadian Sherlock. People of different generations never talk about their general as people from the 90s do. Old people might say something about the good old days. But that is different from calling yourself a 90s kid and organismic to anything from the 90s. All you can do about someone who calls themselves a 90s kid is laugh. The 90s did have some good things to it that won't be back. But many of those things lasted until the early 2000s. So, that doesn't really show anything, and because you like Dexter's Laboratory, which ended in 2003. A lot of cartoons that aired in the 90s were good, as well as original sitcoms or game shows. You either call yourself a 90s kid because you watched Nick or Cartoon Network, or you call yourself a 90s kid because you owned shitty toys and merchandise. And I swear to fucking God, shut the fuck up about Tamagotchis. I will end you if you mention those ever. Ever. Please, there's still a way to watch old CN shows and Nick shows. It's called Boomerang and Teen Nick. That is all for today, my brothers and sisters. Remember to sub to me. Peace out, bitches.